Now there's going to be a 20-second lag here between that and that. I'm going to go ahead and close that a little bit. Let me go ahead and share my database as well. It's only shared. Anyone can read. I'm just going to give you guys read access. Is that okay? Awesome. Let me just double check that it's sharing. Yep, it's sharing. Oh, we're live. Oh, this is interesting. Let me go ahead and send you over in chat. I'm going to go ahead and share you the link. Boom. That should take you all the way to the permanent notes. And let's go do current timestamp. I'm going to go and share my screen as well, so you guys follow along. Let's just share this. And yeah, can everyone see? How's the Zoom, by the way? Is that too much Zoom?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. This is what I'm thinking. Let's just go to do project Threadapalooza. And what I'd like to do is I want to start building this out, but I'm going to go ahead and shift click this into the sidebar. And this is what I think I'm going to do, just because I got to let this cat out. Hold on. There you go. I say, you know, here's the deal. I had an outline, by the way, and I was like, let's just throw that all out. I'd like to see how insight happens just by sort of going through the conversation. So what I did was I went into my daily notes page, I created a timestamp, and then I bracketed sort of Project Threadapalooza. And now I've got a numbered list by right-clicking on that bullet point. And now I've got a number list, and I'm gonna go and open up permanent notes here from the sidebar. And this is sort of all of the permanent notes that I have written so far. So I think the first thing I wanna do is sort of come up with a topic. Like, what's the question that I want to ask? And, you know, I think it's important that for this to be effective, I have to sort of approach this without knowing what I want. I know that I want 100 tweets, sure. But I also want to think about, like, what's the question that I want to have answered, right? And I think the more complex, the better. You know, I was sort of wrestling with this as I was coming back home from the gym, and it was like, the thought that came to my mind was, it's a question of, can a Zettelkasten in sort of Rome solve the problems of do you know what I mean? Like, can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of, like, just collecting? I can change this later, but I feel like if I can start with that question, it'd be interesting to see where that leads me. And so I'm just gonna go and start looking through my permanent notes here. And does everyone have access, by the way? Is everyone able to look through the permanent notes? Cool. I think the very first thing I wanna do is I wanna take a look at story, you know, because for me, it's like, I wanna tell a story. Like 100 tweets is a lot. So I'm just gonna go and click on story here, or let me do that again. What I did was I went down to my top level parent block of the conversations that are taking place, and I just not the indexed itself, but the permanent note itself. If I click on that, it'll actually show me the day that I created the permanent note, and it'll give me a little bit of context in regards to literature and fleeting notes as well, and where it is actually located inside the permanent notes. And that's because, again, I do all of my sort of creation of my permanent notes inside my daily notes page. So now I have context. Okay, September 2nd is basically earlier when I first started beginning this process of a Zettelkasten. And I do see sort of, this is interesting, twisted the tail. Let me see what else this relates to. I'm just gonna keep letting people in. Let's go back. Let me go back. Again, I'm just sort of, I'm traversing. That's what I'm doing. And if you guys have any questions throughout this, just unmute and just ask, because really I don't know what we're doing. I'm just sort of winging it. But I do want to create 100 tweets here. So I think I want to start with story though, right? Can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? Maybe I can even make that question a little bit clearer, but I know what the general idea is. And I don't want to do any writing, by the way. I just kind of want to copy paste stuff in, and I don't really want to do the thinking. I feel like I've already done all the thinking. Let's do understanding. Understanding story. Maybe I want to see where this is going to lead. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Let me stop sharing real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my computer, I don't know what is going on with this computer, but let me see if I can share it one more time. Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. So what I did was I sort of opened up the link references here, and I opened up story, and it does feel a little choppy. Understanding story. Let's see where this leads. Oh my God, what is going on? Sorry, guys. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close Safari, and I'm gonna open up. I've got Roam as an app. Let me just enter it that way. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go and share the screen itself. Let's see what happens. Boom. Let this load up. Still a little choppy, huh? Oh my God. Do you think it's because I'm streaming it?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, my computer is maxed out right now. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Hold on. Computer's back up. Hold on. Let me let it load up, and then we'll dive into it a little bit. Cool. Now, let's see what happens. I mean, I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to work. Okay, sharing again. I'm going to open up I'm going to shift click this into the sidebar. I'm going to open up my permanent notes page, and I'd like to start traversing. Looks good right now. Okay, story. I kind of want to take a look at story understanding. And I kind of want to see, okay, through the evolution of prefrontal cortex. Okay. I don't know where that's leading. That's not it. Let's close that bullet point. Let's go to the meaning of story. Maybe that'll help. You see what I'm doing right now is I'm just sort of like looking through, seeing where I can find a scent. And this is interesting. Knowing how to live is represented by structure and the chaos that is abstracted. Right? This is interesting as well. Okay, let's jump out of this. Let's go to Zettelkasten. Let's take a look at Zettel. Okay. Dialogue with the Zettelkasten is akin to the unexpected stereotypes. So let's go to, I'm going to option drag that over, right? And then let's traverse a little bit inside of this one. What does this mean? There we go. This is interesting. Okay, so the dialogue that one has with the Zettelkasten is akin to the rich details that a conversation can bring to the surface in unexpected and serendipitous ways, right? You know what I kind of want to do is, this is perfect right here. Right? This is another perfect one right there. Boom. Look at that. This one too. Okay, I have to get to 100, so I might as well just start stacking them deep, right? By the way, I don't like once I sort of option drag these over here, I make sure that I either replace with text, just because I don't want to have these guys referenced in. It just makes it ugly. But we'll get into all that. Okay. This is great, right? Goal isn't to have a collection of notes. It's meant to confront our own thinking. This is great. I think this could be like a nice little summary of all that too, right? And I kind of want to traverse this a little bit more. So Zettelkasten, and let's go, okay, this is where it sort of lives, right? Let's see where else I can go with this. Zettelkasten, let's go to vision of that. Let's see what a vision of a Zettelkasten is, right? And all these are the sort of relevant notes that are related to vision and this permanent note. But I feel like what we're starting off with is sort of dialogue with this creative unexpected serendipitous. Yeah, and this is sort of explaining this note right there. And then this one, I kind of want to take a look at this picture here. I could probably add this picture in too, because this is important. Let's take a look. Oh, this is great. I couldn't find anything in there. So this is talking about like the graveyard, right? So I think I want to pull that in as well, because this is going to help explain sort of the whole idea of like taking notes and not being able to utilize them. Oh, this is great. I'll drag that into. Let me get rid of 6. And so now it's the story is just being told from this point. Okay, Zettelkasten, dialogue with the Zettelkasten is akin. This is sort of like introduction, and then these are just like supporting that argument, and then this is sort of getting into another conversation in regards to the sort of graveyard. He didn't want to write a book. He wanted to write for a lifetime. This is great, by the way. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of pulling in now supporting arguments in regards to, I don't know why it's not letting me do this. I'm gonna move this above it. I like this picture here. I'll put it underneath. So what I'll do is I'll add this photo to this tweet, if that makes sense. And I think I can add that as well underneath. There we go. How's this sharing, by the way? It's okay now? It's not choppy anymore, right? Perfect. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of looking through these notes that I took on November 29th. And because I'm using the daily notes page, I can see exactly contextually, okay, that was like a week and a half ago, like 3 weeks ago. So I know like where I was in my mind frame. I'm just gonna keep looking here. Again, I kind of want to scour and just see where this leads me. I don't really know where this is gonna take me. I don't even know if this is the right sort of outline, but I know that this is very interesting. And I think this is important too, because this is sort of talking about like, you know, he was asking a different question. How can I solve this problem for my lifetime? And I think that when you ask a different question, you get a different answer. And the fact that Lumen was sort of wrestling with that, I like that. And I think I'm going to add this sort of, I'll nest that underneath so I can sort of add that. I think where I want to go to next is I kind of want to go into vision a little bit more. So this is going to be, again, I have CSS here. So let me go and close this, bullet point right there. So I have CSS. So if I click on vision, you'll sort of notice that this bullet point and this bullet point is highlighted. And if I go in here, it'll highlight all the little bullet points. I can share that CSS with you guys, but I think Abby already has that. He has a more advanced version of that. That's Cato Minor, by the way. I kind of want to jump into vision here. Let me see what was going on here. Okay, so this is November 29th, right? And I see that I have inline references for this. So vision, this is interesting. Vision, destiny, right? Let's see what that is. Okay, so this is vision, destiny. Oh, this is talking about maps of meaning. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, this is really cool because it's like, I want to pull this in because what this is talking about is like, if we ask a different question, we get a different answer. And then what happens is then that decision determines the destiny of the hero. Now this is, oh, I like this. The hero is nested in layers, right? In accordance to what is filtered. This is so relevant to this. It's just interesting. I didn't think about that. Let I'm just sort of reading through. These are all my fleeting notes, by the way. And I love that I can just sort of, like, I have a thumbnail here. If I want to dive a little bit more, I can sort of open that big wall of text. And oh, this is cool. I remember writing this, right? I kind of want to just put this here. Let's just put it here for now. And then I'll just sort of, let me make this into a to-do. That way I'll know, right? I'll just check it. So that way it's like, I can see it. Again, all like this whole part right here, I don't know. It's always going to be different. So it's like, I'm just flowing here. So now let's look back at the top here. This is destiny, right? I'm going to close this. And so right now it's Zettelkasten vision, chaos. I think I want to tap into a little bit more of the pain of the traditional way of doing it, right? Okay, oh, this is important, right? So I want to start from the bottom here. Let's just see what these are. Okay. This is important, right? And I think what this is dealing with is, I kind of want to stop. Let me see where else I can find this, because this is dealing with like traditional, like it's the higher orders of sort of certainty. So you know what I want to do? I want to go back to my permanent notes, and I'll come back to that, but I want to go back to my permanent notes, and I want to look for certainty. Let's see. These are all the different permanent notes. This is certainty, uncertainty. Wow. This is awesome. Oh, I love this. Look at this. Look at this. Those closest to us have the capacity to shine the light into the darkest places of uncertainty in our life. And even though the pain is sharp, the response is natural. This is great, because this is what I was feeling when I was doing these coaching sessions. Because it was like I was getting pushback, but the pushback wasn't because it's because it's like sometimes you need someone just to like truth hurts sometimes, you know, and especially if I've been like, I'm gonna dive into this real quick. This is great. The brain's, and even though the pain is sharp, the response is natural. We have to categorize, right? It's a function of the brain. Then we have to categorize. And what happens is we are up against something. This is interesting. So this is going to really feed into like the pushback in regards to bottom-up structure, because it goes against it. It goes against top-down structuring. But this is interesting. I kind of want to see where proximity leads, though, right? And let's click on the inline references. Proximity, attraction to proximity. Well, I don't know what that is. Proximity, uncertainty. Let's go into uncertainty a little bit. When was this? This is September 25th, by the way. September 25th. That was like closer to the beginning of when I started building out these notes as like truly a habit. So what I'm just reading here, right? Oh, this is awesome. I remember I was watching, this is great. Okay, the least vulnerable way of approaching conflict is akin to how electrons settle at the lowest energy levels, isn't it? I like that because it's still talking about the conflict here. This is one of the problems with Rome, is that when it starts going to the bottom here, it gets all weird. If I hover over the number, you see that? So I can scroll down, right? But if I hover over the number, like, oh, what happened? I don't know. There it goes. See, if I hover over the number, it goes away. So I'm just going to scroll down here. Let's take a look. Okay, the least vulnerable way to approach conflict is akin to electrons set at the lowest level, isn't it? This is interesting too. Uncertainty. I mean, this is so pertinent, because this is what's the hardest thing to sort of grapple with, is because it's so much uncertainty. You know, it's sort of like uncharted territory, like Matt McKinley was talking about. This is a great story, by the way. I'm just going to drag this story in as a sub-blocks. And I'm just going to drag that in as children blocks. And then I can sort of open and close that if I need to go into depth a little bit more. Let's keep going though. And what this is uncertainty, right? This is the index of this permanent note. And right now we're at uncertainty. And I kind of want to go, what's the attraction to uncertainty, right? And this is from October 7th. So this is a couple months back. What being enthralled by what terrified? Why are we fascinated by what terrifies us? I think this is, you know what this is really talking about? This is really talking about like why we want, like, this is so interesting. I just want to write a note here. This is talking about why we seek out so many new answers all the time. You know, it's so interesting because we're terrified. Yeah, we're so engaged. We're engaged to be terrified. We're engaged to be terrified. It's just interesting. Let's keep going. Let's go back. I think I want to go back to my permanent notes. Let's just click on this. Let's go back to the permanent notes and let's dive a little bit more.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to drop off soon, but I had a really quick question actually about the permanent notes page. So this is like your structure is super interesting. I was just kind of curious, like it seems like there are like top level parents, right? And then like children underneath them. I guess like how do you decide how do you decide that something new becomes a top level parent to begin with?
Oh, you mean like when I'm nesting it inside the Zettelkasten?
Yeah, like for example, like performance there, like why is that not inside something else? Like how did you say like, oh yeah, like performance is going to be its own top level?
It was interesting because I wanted to start that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This one happened, when did this happen? This was November 19th, right? So it's fairly recent, less than a month ago. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to start, because my whole focus has been sort of, all of these is sort of like in regards to storytelling theme. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of want to start a conversation on performance. And then what happened was I was able to start building this out now.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. And because where I put the note, as long as it's thematically connected, it's like, it's just a matter of what conversation. It could easily fit under character. It could easily fit under, yeah. And it's just a matter of asking myself that question of like, well, what conversation do I want to have? And I really felt like I wanted to start a new conversation with performance. And then the permanent note that I wrote as well, by the way, it changed. Because before I even wrote this out, right? Oh shit, what'd I do? Oops. Before I even wrote this out, it was like, I referred back to my permanent notes and I wrote it against that. That way, what I'm getting at is this permanent note is a little bit more broad and general because it was the parent level block. But if it was nested underneath something else, like overall objective, then it have a little bit more granularity in regards to what it's talking about.
Got it. So this was basically this, like you knew that like performance was something that you wanted to like essentially dive deeper into, and so you made it its own category and kind of go from there. Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted, because it was interesting, because it was like at this point I was like, okay, I feel like I've really hammered out theme and story stuff, and I wanted to get into the performance aspect of it. And this sort of, I understood from the fleeting notes, like, oh, look at this is great. And so I wanted to start that conversation.
Gotcha.
And that's why it's such a personalized process. This is why it's like when, I really feel like coaching through this is the best way, because everyone's going to get to a different point. Like no one's Zettelkasten is going to look the same.
Yeah.
So let's jump back in. Okay. It's interesting. Like we're terrified. So we're engaged. Let's go jump to that block again, just so I know where I'm at. Right. And let's take a look. Okay. This is, what's the permanent note? Attraction 2, right? Let's go and click on this. Look how easy that was, by the way, just to like find where I was. So now I'm back here, October 7th. You know, this isn't really where I want to be. I know where I am now, but I kind of want to go, okay, let's take a look here. This is the sort of foreign and strange. You know what I want to talk about? I kind of want to take a look at monsters, right? Let's look at monsters and monsters. Let's do it. Monsters around us first, right? This is interesting. I love Dostoevsky. So I'm just going to go and add, this is almost like a new topic here, right? I'm not sure how much I need to edit this in regards to before I added him onto it. This is great. I'm going to add that as well. So I'm the conversation is sort of going from uncertainty, and then it's also looking at, in that uncertainty, there's evil around us. And this is just sort of explaining that pure malevolence can literally destroy somebody. I think this is interesting. I don't know, wait, why is there double? We got to delete that one. This is great. No, that one's okay. Okay, so this is monsters around us. Let's do monsters within us. Let's jump to that one. Let's see what that is. Okay, monsters within us, right? Let's go and click on this permanent note. Where's the daily note itself? Oh, it's because this is inside. Okay, here we go. Monsters within us, right? And by the way, what that was because this was nested. So this was a permanent node itself. So I nested another permanent node inside. Very meta. And then what happened was I actually clicked on this one. Let's take a look here. This is great. I think this is really good, but it's too early, right? So what I mean by that, it's too early in regards to the story, but I do want to add it so I can come back to it. I'll just have it like that, so I know I need to come back to it. I'm sure there's a better workflow, but whatever. We're just rolling with the punches here. This is interesting though. Okay, it's really this that I want. Let's go ahead and replace with text, right? And it's really, I think I can just continue the conversation, honestly. And I think I just want to have it like this, right? And then I want to add this to it as well. There we go. What was I reading? It's never to convince people that it's not dangerous as it truly is, but to expose them to the malevolence to defend them to be braver. So now really what the conversation is going to now is sort of like, okay, how can we overcome this? I feel like. Let me go back to my permanent notes. I think it's sort of like, let's just search. Let's do overcome. Let's see what overcome comes up with. Okay. Okay, so you'll notice this, by the way. This is actually project notes. I have on the sidebar, I have permanent notes here, and then I also have this one called Twitter. And these are all of my permanent notes that haven't been, you'll see it's the same Zettelkasten structure, but these don't have evidence. This is basically a project Zettel or a project Zettelkasten. So these, if I go into this, it has the same sort of structure in regards to that. But if I actually click on the block itself, you'll notice that I don't actually have like a reference note. These are just ideas that I've had. And so I wanted to make sure that I separated this from the actual permanent notes page, because I didn't want to commingle these ideas, because I knew that I wanted to have an evidence-based sort of Zettelkasten. So I've sort of separated it completely, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't know how I go back to that. Let's just go to outcome. Okay. Overcome. Okay, let's just open this up. So again, this is sort of overcome, gratitude for the ability to take action, can overcome the rudimentary. Okay, I'm gonna pull this in as well. So now it's like, okay, so the whole idea is Zettelkasten, it isn't a goal. We have to confront our own thinking. This is just talking about Zettelkasten. And then this is talking about Lumen, and he wanted to write for a lifetime, just giving a little bit more background history. And then this is sort of like, this is like the beginning of the journey here. To be a hero is nested in layers. I don't know. Again, I sort of had this check mark just to look back at it. It's almost like when you have what you have, the slats pulled underneath you. So this is sort of getting into like the pain points, because this is really one of the pain points. You know what I mean? It's having the slats pulled underneath you, and we want to categorize, but we also want people to sort of to tell us what's foreign. It's a deep thing. And I think about the Spaniards, and it's interesting because we're terrified, we're so engaged. And Fyodor Dostoevsky, Blinding Light with Alcoholics, Malevolence can truly, and I think this is important too, because it's like malevolence can really literally destroy someone. And then now we're sort of getting back into sort of the positive, right? Gratitude for the ability to take action is sort of like grounding them.
Hey guys, I have to drop off, but this was awesome. I will definitely hit you up on Twitter because I have so many questions about this still, but thanks for doing this. I hope you enjoyed
and I'll post the rest of the video on Twitter as well.
Cool. All right.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys having fun, by the way? Is this cool? I'm having fun, but
I'm digging it.
Okay, cool. I'll keep going. So now it's talking about gratitude here. So gratitude, and then I kind of want to add something onto that real quick. And I think I want to add this. This right here, because this is important. And then again, it's Twitter, so it's like we'll go where it's going to go. So I'm going to go click on this inline reference here, and so now it's like overcoming learning patterns or overcoming success cycle, overcoming trust. Let's take a look at the story that we have going so far. I mean, we hit him really hard with the sort of malevolence here. Now it's really if we can help solve those problems rudimentary, and I think I want to dive into learning patterns because I think this is important. Let's take a look here. So again, I sort of learning patterns is the index. These are all the relevant notes in regards to that. And then this is the actual permanent note itself. Data process. Oh, I'm going to add this actually. I feel like there's something here. And now we're getting to the solution. If that makes sense. But I kind of want to build this out though. So what I want to do is I kind of want to look through the fleeting. Oh, these are all my tweet storms, by the way. I kind of look through the fleeting notes here. This is sort of touching upon it, but I think this is sort of providing the solution that we need a frictionless way of doing this. And then I'm just going to get into the how now. I mean, I feel like why not? We're 25 tweets in, 27 tweets in. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep exactly this, like the words, but at least I've got, the ideas here. And this is interesting because honestly, I'm just sort of flowing. I don't know where this is all leading, but hopefully at the end of this, there's going to be a story that makes sense with 100 tweets. This is sort of touching upon that as well. This is basically just talking about literature notes. This is a little pain point. Let's just take a look at this here. This is where the practice, this is again, pain point right there. The highlights are never really surfaced, are they? I think that's the thing that I kept on hearing over and over again. It's like, I highlighted a bunch of things, but I didn't do anything with it. The author is inviting you. Look at this is a great tweet, by the way. Look at this one. The author is inviting you to interpret. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And what I'm doing, by the way, I'm just looking through these fleeting notes here. Again, this is it's not actually, because this is on my project Zettelkasten with the little tweet right there. This isn't evidence-based. This is just my sort of ruminations. But I mean, Threadapalooza is sort of that anyways, isn't it? It's like hot takes. There has to be learning. It's not that the thinking is programmed and left to be. There has to be this learning that has to happen. And with each new thread going, this is perfect because this is going to summarize this top blank right there. So what I did was I just abstracted, or I just connected this permanent note with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different other fleeting notes, and I just sort of created 8 tweets there. I kind of want to jump out of this. This is cool. Let's see what else. Let's close this bullet point here for now. Let's close. I want to close success cycle. So I think we're still on overcoming, right? progress, decision, action, overcome, by the way. So that's how I'm sort of looking at it here. Progress, decision, action, overcome. Let's do courage. Let's see where this leads. Huh, this is interesting. Leaning into life. Let's do the same thing. Why not? I think we're in the crux of all this anyways. I'm going to bring that in. And then I kind of want to, it's about giving, 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 giving. Oh, this is good. This is so, it's kind of personal. I got 2 parking tickets and I just sort of contextually reframed it to go, oh, these are donations to the city. Let's keep going. Let's jump out of this. Well, this is good, right? Let's go to trust, see where this goes. With the vulnerability that comes from the creation of a Zettelkasten, the trust that is needed goes beyond the networking of thoughts. This is great. Again, I feel like I have a flow now. What I'm doing is I'm just sort of bringing over the permanent note first, or not project permanent note. And then I can just sort of go through and add. Look at this. This is great. This is great. I'm just reading. Connected in context. This is great. That's what network thought is. This is another, this is great. I wholly believe in this, by the way. I wholly believe in this. It's really the power of how Rome works. I mean, I'm gonna bring that down too. So now I've got 40. Let's keep going. I kind of want to jump into permanent notes and look for the permanent note Zettelkasten. Let's see what's over here. I'm gonna close that one. Because I feel like we're in the crux of it now, right? Here's this one. I'm gonna go and click on that bullet point. And so now it's just gonna be everything that's dealing with Zettelkasten in my actual permanent notes. Hi, we're just hammering away here. Let me go ahead and share the access to, where's my chat? Chat. Here's my graph, so you can follow along as well. I'm just in permanent notes, by the way. If you go into the sidebar, just click on permanent notes, and I'm sort of building out from there. Right now, I'm on permanent notes Zettelkasten. Just go back to that one. Click on the bullet, and then I'm sort of zoomed into that block. So where am I now? So it's like, okay, network thought, the digital realm just didn't work. I really want to talk about, oh, you know what I want to do? Digital advantage. Let me click on this one. This is interesting because I know that, okay, this was from December 3rd, so this is rather recent, but I mean, you also have to imagine like doing this for years and not having all this, but I'm going to go and expand all these blocks. And what I want to do is I really want to hammer in Rome, right? And this is great. This is talking about idea sex. It's really, this isn't necessarily what I was looking for. Let's go. Let's take a. Okay, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. Let's see, where am I? So if I scroll down to the bottom, it's perfect because it's like, sure, I have the actual permanent note here, but I don't need to click anything to get to the, like, where it's located in the permanent in my Zettelkasten. So right now I'm on Zettelkasten, physical limitations, digital advantage. I kind of want to see what else is here. Technological advancements. Let's see what this is. because really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to buttress this argument here, right? And it's about, until Rome arrived, because it needed that technology. And I think this is where, and I don't want to think, by the way, I just kind of want to copy all my notes that are already done. I don't want to rewrite everything, right? Looking for like power of Rome. Thinking is, let's just add that as another idea here. It's still relevant, but let's just keep going. Let's go back up. Again, if I want to close this wall of text, I can do that with one click, and then it's like, okay, perfect. I love this. This is such a good phrase, by the way. All of the notes that accumulated over Nicholas Luhmann's time were in essence his intellectual autobiography. Oh, that's so good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and bring that block underneath as well. I want to add that photo. I think that's important. And again, if I want to close it, boom, it's gone. I love that. Look at this. Okay, this is great because this is talking with until Rome arrived, right? So what I want to do is I want to drag that in, and I might even bring it up. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up to here. This is buggy Rome, by the way. What I'm going to do is let me just jump in here. I'm going to shift tab. By the way, what happened was it's just a bug where you see how that little pop-up comes up, and when I try to drag that in, it gets hidden behind it. It's just a bug. What are you going to do? The tool works though. I'd rather hammer away with a hammer than use a boot. Still a hammer. Let's see. The wave structuring nodes allows it to converge and carry that work forward. I kind of want to add that on there as well. Boom. And then it's great because look, it's like if fascinating digital realms didn't work, and then this is the power of emergent technology, and then structuring nodes for technology to carry that work forward. How are you going to notate without thinking? Thinking is writing all the notes, and then it's sort of transitioning now to intellectual autobiography, right? And then let's take a look. I'm going to reset this. Okay, this is analog solutions, technological advancements. I kind of want to go to physical limitations here. Let's go see what this is about. Let's click on that permanent note. And I don't know what I did. What happened? I think I clicked the wrong button. Technological advancements. Oh, because I clicked on Nicholas Luhmann. That's why it came up. Let's go back to physical limitations. You see how in this page right here, I bracketed his name, so I accidentally clicked on that. That's what happened there. Okay, physical limitations. I think this is going to be interesting because. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing we were doing earlier. I'm going to go ahead and bring that whole permanent node over in regards to looking at that, and then I'm just going to expand everything here, and I'm going to just hammer out like 4 or 5 tweets underneath this that sort of build up onto this. Right. What I'll do is I'll actually structure it like this. I'm going to bring over this. So this is great because it's like, okay, here's the actual crystallized thought, but let's start with how it started. And so it's like crystallized thought, and let's go backwards. Okay, boom. This is great. This is just talking about the physical limitations of a Zettelkasten, like an analog Zettelkasten. Like this is great too. I love this, by the way, because the invention of the hashtag, I mean, it's not even 20 years old. This is great too. He had 3,500 handwritten cards. And then I'm just going to nest this idea underneath, and I'm going to nest this idea underneath as well. Because I don't think these need to be like, this could just be one tweet. I kind of want to see where this goes now. So this is physical limitations, right? And let's see where it is here. Okay, obviously there's no references, there's no linked references to this, so I haven't used that. Oh, by the way, if you're just joining, let me go ahead and share that in chat as well. I'll go ahead and share, how can I do this? Where is it? There we go. Chat. Boom. Boom. If you want to go to that page, that's going to be my permanent notes page. I have it where you can view it, but you can't edit, and then that way you can just sort of follow along as well. Okay, so I'm at physical limitations here, and obviously there was nothing else there. Let's go ahead and click back on permanent notes. Just go back to the permanent notes page. Let's see where else we can go. So right now it's just talking about like handwritten cards and physical limitations. I'm just looking, and the reason that I have the index right here on the permanent notes, because then I don't have to read the whole permanent note. I can just sort of scroll here and just explore. That's really what I want. When I think about handwritten cards, I think about categorization. Let's just take a look at what this is. Okay, so this is talking about, oh, this is interesting. Categorization of an object stems from the meaning that it's endowed by an ecosystem in which it lives, or else it becomes trash. Oh my goodness. That's very relevant, isn't it? For like a Zettelkasten. Let's go and expand this. This has nothing to do with Zettelkasten, by the way. This is from September 25th. This is one of the newer, one of the older notes. Oh, this is great. This is great. Oh, look at this. Look at this. That is insight, by the way. Because look, what this is talking about is, okay, handwritten notes, right? He had 3,500 handwritten notes. And these physical things could be a laptop. But if you let it sit there 5 years later without touching it for 5 years, then it's trash. Wow, that's painful. That's, you know, and when I was doing these coaching sessions, that was one of the biggest things that I sort of butted up against, was like, people were pissed. They were pissed that they read all these books and they couldn't use any of it. Okay, this is just talking about props. So let's just take a look at categorization here. So again, what I'm doing here is this is the permanent note page, right? But because of how I linked it, I have it the date that I created it, but I also have the location of where it's located, and it shows the nesting here. So it's inner objects, categorization, paradox, right? And I kind of want to, you know, I love that we're talking about trash here, but I kind of want to see what paradox is. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is, look at that. You see how it connects, by the way? Like categorization connects to paradox, right? But I didn't even read this permanent note. I was just looking at paradox. I was looking at the index note that I have here. Again, this is not for me to sort of categorize it. It's just an index of what this is. It gives me a low resolution thumbnail. It's almost like when I open up a folder for pictures, it just gives me a thumbnail. If I want to click into it more, this is what more is. That's like the whole 12 megapixel or 20 megapixel picture. But look at this, like, you know, like this, what we have right now is here, right? Physical things could be a laptop, but if you let it sit there years without touching it, it turns into trash. And then look at this permanent note here. And it's so appropriate. With the complexity inherent to the world, we never actually see an object until it stops working. When it ceases to be an object, or rather a bag of snakes, it is defined best as uncertainty. Let me dive in here a little bit. I'm going to add this note down there too, because I think that gives me a little bit more clarity. This is what I'll do. I'll go ahead and tab that over, so that way it's underneath. And let's just see what my fleeting notes are. Again, I just love how with one click, I can just sort of, if I need to go into it more, it's like, this is a great thumbnail, but I kind of want to dive into it a little bit more. You know, I could, if I really wanted to, I could actually add this here, because this, it's interesting because it's like, the topic, by the way, is, can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? This is talking about Marlon Brando. But I think it makes sense because, you know, the reason that his acting was so good was because, you know, it wasn't trash. It had meaning. He was mad. He was, look at this. This is perfect. This is perfect. And maybe I can even, what I can do is I can probably look for the clip. I'm just going to do a to-do here. I'll do it as done. Find clip from Brand to show Brando, Marlon Brando. By the way, this is probably the like second sentence that I've written so far. I'm at 52 tweets. It's like the second sentence I've written. I don't want to write anything right now. I kind of want to just tap into Zettelkasten. By the way, I have no idea what I'm doing either. You know, this is, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I'm going. I wanted to dive into the Zettelkasten for this tweet storm. Let's go back to Paradox here. This is great. And I think I want to jump. Let's jump back somewhere else. Now we're just talking about sort of ideas and trash. And I think I want to dive into this a little bit more. Let's dive into like that pain, you know, emotional pull. No, chaos. I think this is going to be interesting. Let's take a look. Ooh, this is good. This is good. This is good. So this is talking about like the trash, right? And then how can we hit them a little bit more? Chaos breaks through the foundational elements of order, right? I think I want to just bring this in, right, as a new sort of topic there. But I want to bring this in as well because this is really cool. A sense of confusion that ensues when the chaos pulls one asunder, when the certainty of life is cracked and destroyed, laying to waste the order in which life is built upon. This is basically like traditional note taking. And then I'm gonna hammer this home, dude. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm taking out these when I understand it. And this is a little bit of hope. What's left is this journey from the chaos into the order of certainty that we are not dead. This is great. Let me see where else this goes. Oh, I love this. Let's expand all this. Ooh, this is good. I mean, I'm just going to nest this underneath because it's not worthy of a whole tweet, but I can put these two together, two ideas together. And you know, it's interesting because this is like I gave him like 5 different, like 1, 2, 3, like 5 different tweets on like pain, right? But I kind of want to go, hold on, but that pain is actually part of the hero's journey. You know? And it's profoundly engaging. Let me just open this. Look how much I write. Oh, pivotal point of transformation. This is great. I think this is important because now it's like, okay, I've hit you with pain, right? Okay, top down note taking doesn't work. And then now it's like, okay, now let's go into this transformation. So now let's jump. So I'm on chaos. I kind of want to jump to maybe like solution. Okay, I'm just sort of looking for a word here. Let's just look at this one. These are all, I mean, it could lead anywhere, but obviously the ones that are in sentences are permanent notes. Okay. I'm going to expand everything here. This is cool because what I'm saying is, you know, like up to this point, it's like, okay, pain, right? But I'm saying, okay, but there's actually a point in this because you can go on the hero's journey and you can sort of, you know, it's this transformation, pivotal point in transformation. But then I also want to lay the groundwork for, again, this is sort of solution right here. This is the index for this permanent note. And I also want to just touch upon this. I like this idea here. Imaginary numbers are a real thing since you can solve all equations. Any possible equation. I think this is going to be even more powerful. See, I don't really know too much about this, but I know I did some abstraction on here. Superstring theory. No. It's proof, it's evidence. This is great. There's no boundary in essence, but the formulaic foundation. String theory, double slit experiment. I don't need to get into all that, but I think it's this right here. Any possible equation has a solution. I think that's sort of like giving a little bit of hope. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this is. So now again, I go back to where it's located in the permanent notes, and now it's like, okay, solution. How about how to live? This is great. This is story. I'm gonna get the fleeting notes here. This is interesting because it's like not propagandistic. This is interesting. Now let's close this one. Let's go to the next one. I'm gonna close this bullet point. Oh, what happened? Okay, here we are. So I'm gonna go and open and close this again one more time. How to live. That was not the right rabbit hole. Let's go down a different rabbit hole here. So right now I'm going solution, vision, solution, breaking from tradition. Oh, that's good. I like that. Solution, physical limitations, solution phases, solution, technological advancements, solution, corruption. By the way, when I'm making relevant notes, I also like adding like antonyms, not just synonyms. Solution, analog solutions. I think breaking from tradition. Let's see what this goes. This is the permanent note itself. This is good because right here I'm looking at what I'm writing, right? We're talking about solutions here and we're talking about purpose. So I think I want to touch upon that. I'm going to go and add that. And now let's break this down. Let's take a look at the picture here. Okay. This is great because he's talking about like the purpose, right? I'm going to close that so it's out of the way. I love that, by the way. One click, it's there when I don't need it. And then this is basically the actual PDF too that I have linked here if I need it, but I don't need to go in there right now. I think I want to talk about this. This is important. It takes a radical vision. Like this is important because this is like, okay, so I'm about halfway into the tweet storm here because we're going to 100, but it's like I really want to talk about the purpose behind it. Like to break through a habit, right? He wanted to comprehend. This is great. So from reading that article, it's just talking about how like when he was creating the Zettelkasten, it's like his why or his purpose for what he wanted was powerful. And then I'm going to add this. Okay, I'm going to start filling this out. This is great because now it's talking about the habit. Let me do that again. Oops. Let me stop there. Let me zoom down here. Again, what I'm doing, by the way, is I'm option or alt clicking this bullet point. So that way I can just drag in a block reference. But I don't keep this block reference here. I'll replace it with text. So that way it disappears here, if that makes sense. But if I highlight from outside, if I highlight from here, it does the whole box. But if I highlight from outside, like the window, I can just highlight text and I can copy that into sort of Twitter or whatever that looks like. Just so you guys know. Okay, habitualized. I think this is super important. I kind of want to dive into this. This is super important. The why, the why is everything. And then the how of creating this Zettelkasten was easy. I'm just going to have that there. And then let's actually go to, let's see, let's close this one here. Let's go to, look at that. This is so interesting. It's not even that entire idea didn't even come from my, like, look what thread I'm on right now. I'm on conversation, overall objective, wholeness, solution. But I found that because it was over here, I guess, which is on a completely different thread, by the way. But I love that. This is what I love about a Zettelkasten. Let me go back to my permanent notes page. Let's follow this thread right here because now I think it's about talking about a little bit more about how Zettelkasten works. So I'm going to scroll down to this parent level block. I'm going to click on that one. So now it's just sort of all in this page. And I think I want to talk about this because now it's the how. So I got through the why. Now let's go into the how. And it's this dialogue partner. Let me just go here. This is important because people need to understand that it's this conversation captures this because the dialogue already taking place. That's not exactly what I want to say. So here's the location of where it is. Let's go click on this. Now let's go to autonomous. Let's click on that one. Again, this is the actual permanent note page, but because of how I have it linked, I have it show up with the date and the location easily there, which also opens this up. Okay, for a true autonomous conversation partner, let's expand all this. Now I've opened up all the blocks. This is great. Okay, certain things make autonomous. Okay, how creating this. I'm going to bring this down, right? This will be the sort of topic, like, you know, that's like a topic. And then I'll just sort of bring all my notes in from that. Here's the reference itself. I don't know why this is up here. Oh, I think this is the actual text. Yeah, this is the actual text, by the way. Typically, I'll have a picture. I'll take a screenshot of usually I read on my iPad or whatever. I'll take a screenshot and then upload it. But obviously, I wasn't able to take a screenshot for this one. So this is the actual text. Maybe I'll do this. That way I know it's like text. This is great. So this is, I mean, it kind of deals with it, but it's really just talking about like why we need it. Simple manner of organizing your notes. So this is just laying the groundwork of actually how to do it. And let's click on what else is relevant with this. Bottom-up structure. Oh yeah, this is gonna be important. Let's talk about bottom-up structure actually. Let's open the picture. Okay, I know what this is about. Even with the powerful vision. Oh, this is cool because this is saying that even with Lumen, it's like he didn't get it right on its first time. And I think this is just talking about the pain of actually, you know, doing this. I like this idea. This is powerful. This is really summarizing the difference between top down and bottom up. And I think someone was asking about this earlier, but it's like, okay, it's not table of contents, but it's like his interests. And then the interest sort of provided the interest or provided the conversation. Let's keep going. Scroll back up here. And I can even jump somewhere over here. I mean, these are all the relevant notes for bottom-up structure. Let's take a look at play circuitry. Cybernetic. Oh, structure. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's jump to that block. Okay. This is where it's located because it's block referencing that. I want to open up the page itself. Okay. Oh. Desire is a stronger motivation than expectation. This isn't really it. Let's go to embodiment. No. Understood. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look. Oh, this is great. Hold on. Before I do that, though, let me do that again. No, it's not. It's good, but it's not really what I'm calling. I'm not continuing this. It connects, but it's not really what I want to talk about right now. So what this is talking about is really like, you know, implementing it. So let's go to implement. Implement. Again, I'm just searching for a random word, by the way. Let's do this one. See where this leads. Look at that. Cool. That was easy. I don't even know where how did that happen? I just searched for a word. Okay, this is physical limitations, right? November 30th. Let's see where I am in the permanent notes. Digital advantage. Yeah, you know, I kind of want to talk about this. Because, you know, this is talking about bottom-up structure and top-down structure. Now let's go digital advantage. This is sort of more like how. So this is basically talking about the scope with the branches. The index is sort of to show you what that branch is. This is good. This is good. This is sort of talking about what the index is. So I'll add that here. And then now I want to get into this. This is sort of the power, because in the digital application, it's different. Look at this. Oh, I'm not PG-13, I'll tell you that. And jump to the next fuck. Okay, this is sort of X-rated. It's just talking about ideas, like interconnecting with other ideas. But I think it's important though, because they are emotionally connected. Okay, so the index are baked in. Okay, let's keep going. Very not. Let's go to, where can I go next? Let's close this one. Let's go to granularity. See where this goes. Oh, this is good because now I can continue this conversation, right? This is sort of talking about conversation itself. Okay, I'm gonna vape. Sorry guys. Okay, I've been going at it for like an hour and a half. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this is good. This is, you know what, this is going to relate to actually the note above it here with the digital implementation. So I'm going to add this picture as part of the thread. But now it's talking about how the necessary connects thematically with the previous note is what provided a link to the conversation. Let me look at these. Let's expand everything. Oh, this is great. This is really where I start diving into the index. This is interesting because you know what I want to do? I'm gonna add that as the above it, and then I've got this one to sort of support it. This is baking in the index because it's a digital implementation. It's baked into the index, and this is why it only works in Rome. Come on, now we're talking. Let's keep rolling. And to bake that into that, and this is it's so mind blowing. And this is sort of the solution. The tool finally met the technology to support it. This is great. I'm going to add this as underneath. It's akin to the highway system that levied and caused the automobile boom. That's what I feel like it is. The printing press, long form content, block left reference. Oh, this is great. I'm going to bring that all over as well. This is sort of just supporting evidence. And I'm just going to go and do this. I'm going to go and apply children as references. And then boom, I've got these all this is just in there with one click. Power of blocks, man. Let's scroll back up to the top here. This is interesting. This is interesting because even though he understood this, it's like it was only a twinkle, you know, it was only like a twinkle in the abyss because there was no way he could have even imagined what was to come. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to Zettelkasten here, right? Again, I love this, by the way. Did you see what I did? Oh, that was so good. Let's do that one more time. Sorry. So let me do boom, right? So this is where I am, right? I'm on granularity, right? That's my index, right? And this is showing me the permanent notes of where granularity is in my permanent notes, right? But with one click, say I want to go back to the top parent block, now it shows the entire conversation, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? And so now it's like, because I don't have to go back to permanent notes and find Zettelkasten, it's all right there. Let me just show you what I've done. So what I'm doing is I want to see the entire the conversation starts with Zettelkasten, then it's physical limitations, digital advantage, granularity. Right, that tells a story, right? But instead of clicking permanent notes and going back into the Zettelkasten branch, I can just click on that one, and it's the entire conversation. But what happens if this is interesting actually. Oops. What happens if I click on physical limitations? Then all it does is open up Zettelkasten and everything that's underneath physical limitations. And so I kind of want to go back into Zettelkasten here. Let's open up dialogue, autonomous. Let's take a look at nesting. Oh, this is going to be important. This is cool because now I'm nearly at the end, right? I kind of want to hit him with all that I've got, right? And this is great because this summarizes it the best because it's just that. It's like, top-down structure is here, but now top-down structure is nested underneath bottom-up structure. And it's like Newtonian physics sits inside as a child block of Einsteinian physics. And it's just, oh, this is really good. I'm going to bring this note over as well. And this is just sort of solidifying what it means to have children blocks and everything like that. And then look, oh, this is really good. Okay. That's the definition of IQ, by the way, is to be able to see these patterns. And if the Zettelkasten allows you to see these fucking patterns, let's go to nesting. So it's located right here, right? What is this? This is nesting, right? So I go back to this list here and I go, how about sequence? Relevant? Let's go to position. Oops. Let's take a look at position. Let's go and expand all these blocks. I love how it's like, if I need to get into it, I can just go click. Okay. This is exactly what I'm doing right now. And this could probably nest beside that because it's not really starting a new dialogue here. Go into the fleeting notes. I just love it because this is all the work that I already did. And then it's like, I get to pull from this if I need to. Typically, I wouldn't use this information. I would just use it as like an outline to give me more ideas. Oh, this is great. Overarching system is no longer predicated on a folder or a constraint or a box. They're able to sort of inwardly, through the inward search of a determining where the thematic connection is, produces vitally different results. And I think that's super true. Let's take a look at what the picture is. Oh, this is great. This is great. I'm going to go and add this picture as well. That way, that way there's at least some imagery to go along with all these tweets. So right now I'm on position, which is right here. Let's see what else this leads to. Ooh, look at this, destiny, right? Because we're at 94, we're almost done. But I kind of want to like finish it with like, destiny. Look at this. The hero is nested in layers. That's interesting. This is all the work, Judge, ideal. Let's take a look at what else we got. You know what I want to find? Let's do happiness. Because I feel like I want to end things on a happy note, right? Or happy, or let's say happy. How about profound? Let's end profoundly. Profound thought. Huh, look at this. You see how this structure is a little bit old? I did the structure differently before, and this just doesn't work as well. I mean, it kind of works, but I think there's incredible personalization once this like structure is there. Then you can personalize it how you want. But this is from September 4th. This is from one of the earlier times. But you'll notice how it doesn't have the 3 blocks supporting the permanent note. It has like a summary here, which kind of works too, but I prefer having it the other way because then I can have all of my information there instead. Let's see where this leads. Paying attention here. Let's scroll down a little bit. Paying attention, nihilism, incentive. How about incentive? Let's see where this goes. I want to end strong because I'm at 95 and I want to make sure that it's like, it's good. Maybe this isn't the right one. Let's go to the permanent note page itself. Let's look for a really good one. Sort of action, maybe, pursuit, progress, paying attention, weaponized, disintegration, unpredictability, understood, how to live. Let's keep going. like, how would I want to end this? Okay, he nested in layers. This is really like relationships. And I think what it comes down to, let me go to overall objective here, right? Let's go to wholeness. Wholeness, solution, maybe? No, I already went to that one. Let's do wholeness, embodiment. Let's see what that does. No, that's not really it. Close that. Let's go to wholeness, hierarchy, antithesis, dominance. Let's go to wholeness here. Let's go to this. Let's see what happens here. What's solution? Solution. No, we were already here before. No, I'm just searching. I'm exploring. There's no right or wrong. So what is this talking about? This is talking about destiny. This is like no longer there. I want to finish this strong. Let's just type in strong. No, I don't see any words with that. Let's go back to the permanent notes. Vibration. How to live? No. Heroism? Understanding? There we go. Let's take a look at this. There we go. Okay. So hero, nested in layers in accordance to which filter is viewed, primarily determines the destiny in which that heroism is derived, right? What does this really mean? Let me jump to this block real quick, right? Okay, this is part of a literature note from this one. The permanent note is destiny, right? No, that's not really exactly what I wanted. Let's go back. Let's go back to permanent notes. Let's go back to story. Let's go back to heroism. Let's go understanding. Through the evolution of the prefrontal cortex. What was that? What happened? Story. How to live. No, where was it? There we go. We have it. Cool. Let's take a look at this one. This is interesting because I think let's just see how I can say this, because this is really interesting. So what I'm getting at is there's nested layer, like the hero is nested in layers, right? But then I also want to like intertwine this with learning what to do and what not to do in order to live on the highest magnitude, the power of the imagination. And there's something here, man. I know it. I'm just, like, there's something here. See, this is what happens if you don't write enough notes, right? Because it's like, shit, I wish I wrote more. Because then I know what I meant here when I did the permanent note, but I wish I wrote more. So it's a great example of like to be able to abstract as much as we need to. Let's just take a look here. I mean, oh, this is great. This is great. Let's see what else is here. Same thing. You see how it's like kind of weak sauce in regards to like abstracting? Like there's not much here. But I do like this idea though. I'm going to use that one. Boom. So now I'm talking about like consciousness, right? And is like a pencil, and the lead, the wood, the eraser, the form, the shape, all of it, that is the cellular, da 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 da. And where the pencil makes contact with the paper is what consciousness is. And then if I can relate this to something else, this is understanding, right? Let's go to understanding. This is potential understanding, potential avoidance, potential. Let's do Potential understanding. Let's see what this goes. No, that's a wrong way. We were just there. Let's go potential humility. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Look at this. Okay. It takes time to get underneath the problem, and it's only off the perfect. This is how I wanted to end it. I wanted to end it hopefully, like with a little bit of hope. So, and then look at this. It's like humility isn't about being right. It's about discovering and learning something. And then I can add this with Einstein right there, 99. That's the point. How can I say this? I got one more tweet. Come on. It's just this whole idea of doing your best to get underneath the problem. And I think that's how I want to end it. That's 100. Let's see if it makes sense. You know, let's go to this page. Let's just go to the daily notes page. And so, can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? Let's see. Okay, Zettelkasten. It's meant to confirm our thinking. How do we want to review this? I don't know. You know, I'm just sort of winging it. What do you guys think? Should I just open up Twitter and just make the tweet thread now? Yay, nay? I'm just gonna open up. I'll open up Twitter, and you know what I'll do? This is what I'll do. I'm gonna go and open up Twitter, and I'm gonna open up Chur app. Get Chur app, is it what it is? There we go. So this is going to, let me go and share my whole screen here. Let me share the whole screen. Give me 1 second. Boom. Share the whole desktop. Boom. Now you guys can see everything. Oh, look at that. Weekly planning session. I need to update Mac. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to hide this for now. You guys can see each other anyways. I hope the screen isn't too large here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and highlight everything here. Let's just highlight everything actually. And again, what I'm doing is if I click inside of here, it's going to do the whole block, but it's going to add all that other shit, right? But if I click outside of where that is, I can actually highlight the text. And I think this is what I'll do. You see how it's highlighting the text? Let's just go all the way down. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. I'm going to copy that. Throw that in. This is Chur. Let's go ahead and close this one. Let's go. Boom. Look at that. This is pretty good. Let's go to the top. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll just share this screen now, just so you guys can see. I feel like it's too hard to see it. Give me 1 second. Let me share just this app so you can see it, and then we can see how this is going to get made. Okay, cool. Let's just go to the very top. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this, right? And let's just, why does it screen so, there we go. That looks better. Okay, so the very first thread here, we're going to enable numbering just so it's numbered for us, I guess. I think. Why does it look so funky? Is that because I copy pasted that in there? Let me open Rome again. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Wait 1 second. I'm going to copy that one more time. Let's try pasting that one more time. There we go. It did the numbers by itself then, right? Okay. Let me see you guys. Boom. Okay. Let's do this. I want 100 tweets. Project Threadapalooza. Let's just do this. Project Threadapalooza. Can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? That's definitely the sort of, and I'll split there. That's tweet 1. And let's enable numbering. Fuck it, why not? Or actually, you know what? I think I'll disable numbering because I already have my own numbers here. It copy pasted those numbers. So let's just see. What is going on? Why is it lagging? Hold on. Follow along here. But I love the half naked pictures. I mean, these are my modeling pictures. I was using this for Instagram. I'm sorry, it's not professional. Okay, Project Zettelkasten. Can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? I think that's a good summary. And then this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and go. Let's bring that down, get that, and then let's go boom. So now it's got a little bit of thread here, and then what I'll do is I'll do split there. If it wouldn't lag, is it lagging? I feel like it's lagging, guys. Hold on. I don't know what happened. Okay, boom. So you see here, now it's 1. This is number 2. Let's go over here. Let's go ahead and split this. I think it makes sense. This is super laggy. You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to open up Twitter and just do it inside of Twitter, right? And I'll have this over here. I'm going to open up the Rome tab that I had, and I'll just copy paste it inside, right? And so let's start. Boom. Let's add more tweets. Okay. Project Threadapalooza, right? This is fun. Boom. Can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? It's a good question. Let's add another tweet. Boom. Boom. Zettelkasten. That's fine. Zettelkasten. Download. Perfect. I don't know how pretty it needs to look. Whatever. We're just figuring it out. Oh shit. Do I need to edit this at all? I don't really want to. I'm really, what I'm hoping for is that it's going to make sense without having to edit anything. And I think that's going to be the sort of like litmus test, because it's just like all I did was just I didn't want to write anything else. So can a Zettelkasten in Rome solve the problems of just collecting? 1, dialogue with the Zettelkasten is akin to the unexpected, The end goal isn't to have a collection of notes. Let's keep going. Fuck it. Hope you guys don't mind a cuss. Oh, so now it doesn't want to do that? Okay. Boom. Right? Should I add a period? I'm going to add a period. Make it professional. Look at that. Look, I'm already 3 tweets in. Okay. By the way, all I'm doing is I'm sort of just copy pasting it from the Rome database. Remind me not to hit tweet all, by the way. And so this is where the formatting gets a little bit fucked up, because I don't want to get all fleeting note here. Let's do number 5. The dialogue. I really hope this shit makes sense, dude. I don't know. Whatever. I think I need to add context to Lumen here, though, right? How about this? How about is a way? Right? That works. The Zettelkasten is a way of orchestrating that pursuit, choosing a lifetime of learning over the short-term goals of merely a book. Listen, I don't want to write anything. I just want to copy paste this stuff. I don't know. I'm just copy pasting. Let me add this picture too. Fuck it. Can I add this picture? negative. Copy image, paste image. No, that doesn't work. I don't know how I'm going to add these images. I'm going to download the image and one. I'll call it one. And I'll find it later. How about this? Look at that, right? I'll get rid of that. Again, it's the editing to fit Twitter, but yeah, if you guys want to watch all this, yeah, yay, nay, you don't have to. But I'm just editing. I'm like, all I'm doing now is just making sure that it looks okay. What are you thinking? You're muted. Yeah. You're still muted, I think.
My bad. Is that better?
Yeah.
I was saying that you can add pictures at the bottom of the toolbar where you were inputting, and then you were missing the word B higher up, I think in number 3.
Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the main crux of what I wanted to show off was just like, let's just make the tweet storm just by looking at the Zettelkasten. And I think we succeeded. I mean, obviously it's going to make sense because as we were going through it, we were just sort of searching for it. I think having this experience, I thought this was really cool. I've never done this before, by the way.
Your energy is impressive.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the idea of seeing how, I mean, it was so quick. It was hard to keep up because it was obvious that it was sucking you back into when you had made the notes. And I think that was powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so interesting to be able to see the work and to be able to use the work as well. And maybe not having all those fleeting notes, or you saw that point where it was like, man, there was certain permanent notes didn't have like all that other work that had to happen. And I felt like I missed something, you know? And so, yeah, I think what I'll do is this. I'm just going to go ahead and the structure here, like you see the structure, right? I'm just going to copy paste that into Twitter, into a tweet storm. And yeah, and I think I'll do that offline because unless you guys want to watch me like edit words and get typos stuff down, you know what I mean? But I think the main process was just to see, like, I'm not going to change anything in regards to like the order and structure. I feel like, no, that was what happened. And let's just copy that into Twitter and we're done with Threadapalooza, you know? And I think that's what I wanted to show off. And yeah. So just so you guys know as well, so me and Andy Henson are working on some sort of like, I think it has to be an experience. You know, I've realized that it can't be a video. It can't be an article. It has to be like walking up a mountain. And it's like, I'm going to be right there with you as you walk up that mountain, but you have to do it. It's almost like I go up to the top of this mountain, like Mauna Kea in Hawaii or something. And I take a picture and I bring it down to you, go, look at this. It's like, no, you have to walk it up. And I think the coaching idea is the most effective way of doing that. And I'd like to just keep what I'm doing right now is I'm sort of refining it to the best of my ability. And then I'd like to just be able to offer that where it's like, no, let's get a big group of people together and let's spend 3 days on this and let's figure out how to do this and how to really, you know, apply it into our lives. And I think as long as it's simple, I think there's a lot of opportunity in regards to like, wow, the ripples that are going to happen from this. What do you guys think? Do you want me to keep going? Do you want me to keep pressing this into the Twitter? I feel like, you know, I mean, the majority of it's done. Cool. I don't want to bore you guys. You know what I mean?
No, it's been helpful. I'd not seen the index or your main permanent note page in the way that it's put together. It's clicked for me, something that had not clicked before. And the idea of the dialogue is obviously a very powerful one. I mean, we saw it happen. It was crazy. You had a dialogue with yourself.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And also, it's like I wanted to also just like jump to places. You know, I didn't know where I was going to go. I had no idea this is what was going to happen. It was just like I wanted to sort of explore and sort of where is this going to lead, but then to not get lost either.
Yeah, it's kind of hard following everything, but it's also impressive seeing how quickly you're doing it at the same time.
Yeah. This is going to end up on YouTube as well, so you can watch back. I don't know how fun it's going to be, but at least that way you can sort of see it. And but just hang on tight. Like I really want to get this out to as many people as possible, you know. And I don't think it's not about like how can I market it. It's like no, I hate mailing lists. I hate fucking paywalls. No, the most important thing is like we need to get this out to as many people as possible because I want my brothers to use this. I want my friends to use this. And because I know that the better that they can think, the better the whole world is. And so as long as I can just hide all the complexity behind the simplicity and have it in a tool that's a frictionless writing tool, I really feel like the ripple effect from this is extraordinary. And that's really what I'm striving for. And really, I appreciate all of you guys showing up and like supporting and like being there with me because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go. But obviously, it's like something is happening, and I think it's powerful.
Right. One of the notes when I popped in, you were talking about. I think it was one of your notes from acting. Whenever the job of the actor is to sort of bring the viewer through the process of where you get into that space. And I mean, it was funny because it's exactly what you do. When I logged in here, it was crazy. I mean, I absolutely see the manifestation of the work that you put in. So
yeah, thank you. Is there any other questions before I sort of log off and then actually tweet this out? Ivan, Colby?
I just have one quick question, or several, but just a real snapshot here. But so when you're using your tags, are you using that as a category or a context, and then everything, the rest of your stuff, like your blocks are actually being used as your pages? That's how you're kind of doing that because you're using it as a reference. I'm trying to figure out how you're hooking this together. Like
it's a bit complex. Let me go ahead and walk you through something real quick, right?
Yeah, I think this I know you don't have time, but just a quick snapshot of how. Because I'm not a writer, so I'm trying to see how I can use that for my use case.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen. I think I know what you're saying. Let me go back to the daily notes page here, right? And so obviously this is the daily notes page, and I'm just gonna go ahead and zoom into this block, right? And then I'm just gonna go current time. And I just wanna set up a structure here where I'm going to bring in, I'm gonna show you the whole sort of quickly, the whole idea here, right?
That's fine. I can watch it later. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a reference. The reason I have this structure because it shows me the fundamental relationships between each one of these ideas. And see, right now, these are actually going to be nested underneath permanent notes. So I have fleeting notes, literature notes, and reference notes, which creates a tripod in order for me to have this permanent note here. And so basically I have my fleeting notes here, notes, and I'm just going to do notes here, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste this. Let me just copy this, boom, right? And I really get heavy into this, like abstracting out as much as I can. And then a summary goes here. And this summary, by the way, is a low resolution thumbnail of these notes, if that makes sense.
So when you're scrolling through your graph, what we're really seeing is a summary, but you could expand it and look for further details or information or the connections, basically.
Exactly. And the reason I do that is because that way, because I'm scanning, you saw how I was scanning really fast. I didn't want to be inundated with information that was irrelevant or that was going to slow me down or was going to provide friction. And so if I can hide all of the actual notes behind this sort of wall of text, then it's like, if I need to get into it, I can. It's always available, but I wanted it simple. And so all those notes go there. And I'm just going to go and show you one more thing here. Now, I'm just going to show you the whole process. So again, same idea here. Thumbnail. That's the easiest way to sort of like realize this, is that these are basically thumbnails of this wall of text. And it's the same idea. I can hide this with one click and then it's gone. And then this is going to be Command K to make a link to website, Readwise, or voice memo, if that makes sense, right? And then if I want to add photos, add attributes, I can do author here like this, and then, you know, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Does that make sense, right? And then I can hide that if I don't want to see it. Again, this is traditionally like, this would traditionally be like on the page. And so then I go up here, but except for the first permanent note, I actually don't create this permanent note in this section. What I do is I shift click on permanent notes and it opens this in the sidebar. And then I'm looking and I expand out everything here, right? And with this view on my daily notes page, by the way, within this view, this is where I look through the permanent notes that I've already written. And I find the location of where I want this to go. So I collapse everything here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different sort of parent level blocks. And I look at where all of this information fits. And I'm thinking about which conversation I want to continue. And say I want to continue the conversation of performance. Then I open this up and then I go performance, engagement, performance, dichotomy. Let's open up performance engagement. Now this has more conversations going here. So you have, let me go in and go into this block so you can actually see the little colored bullet points. Hopefully you can see this.
I just interrupt for a minute.
Yes. Yes.
So with all these things, your inner object, your character, and all that kind of stuff, is this kind of stuff you kind of figured out ahead of time what you were interested in, or how does this work?
So how it started, by the way, was with this one note here. Just this note here, right? And then the next note that I created was either going to fall nested underneath here, it was either going to fall underneath this note, or it was going to be a new note or a new parent level block. And so this is why I have overall objective, and then the next one was scene objective. But say I wanted to start another conversation, I wanted to call it productivity. Then that would be the parent level block, and then everything else would sort of go productivity, ideas, or, you know what I mean, productivity, concepts, whatever. Does that make sense? And so it's the conversation, it's almost like a conversation in real life. How does a conversation in real life happen? It happens naturally. And so obviously if I'm talking about one thing and I don't want to talk about that, I want to start a new conversation. How do I start a new conversation? I just go, you know what? I don't think it's overall objective. I don't think it's scene objective. I don't think it's story. I think I'm just going to start a new conversation, and then new conversation goes here. Maybe it's a conversation about conversation. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so basically instead of using pages, you're using these tags to connect everything and using the nesting as well.
But I am using pages though, because let me show you something real quick. It is actually pages, but I've put both of them on the block. I've put two pieces of, because Rome's granularity happens at the block level, I've actually put two different pieces of information on one block, which is maximizing how Rome works. So traditionally, this would actually, if you looked at it, this would actually be your sort of page. Like this would be a page, right?
Right.
And what I'm saying is, yeah, you can do that, but you can also, no, what happened? Sorry. Let me open the sidebar again. You could also have two pieces of information on this block. And so what I'm doing is, if you look at something like, let's just find a random one, right? And I go dialogue, right? What this hashtag is this is what the index used to be in a traditional Zettelkasten. The traditional Zettelkasten, think of an index as headlights on a like a country road at night. right? What it does is it show the headlights on a country road at night gives you vision to see what's around the bend, right? And that's what a traditional sort of Zettelkasten analog slip box, that's what the index was. And so basically in Luhmann's sort of index, he would have these sort of words, and then it would sort of point to what this conversation was about, right? And this is the conversation right here. So when I think about a conversation, it goes Zettelkasten, dialogue, autonomous. That's a conversation thread. But you also have this conversation here, Zettelkasten dialogue. But then you also have this conversation, Zettelkasten phases. So you have 3 different conversations going on right here. Zettelkasten phases, Zettelkasten dialogue autonomous, right? And so what the index used to be was, if you have a physical note card and you put that up to your face, and you don't know what's behind the nested blocks. And so basically, when you have something like this, you can actually see where the nested location is. And so now the index, the purpose of the index was to be able to see what was hidden underneath the branch, if that makes sense. Is this making sense, by the way?
Yeah.
So when you pick up so you have a box here, right? And you pick up this. Let me talk about this real quick. So you have the analog slip box, right? And you have the note card. So you pick up one note card and you go, okay, this is something. But then how do you know what's 10 cards behind that or 15 cards behind that? You pick up the next card and even if you put them all on the ground, it's like, how do you know what the nested sequence is? How do you know what the conversations are? The index provided you with, hey, if you look on 1A and 1C, you have this conversation going. And so now what I'm saying, I think the best way to understand this would be, in the 1950s, you had headlights on a country road, right? In 2020, you're on that same country road at night. But not only do you have the headlights, now you have a little display in your car that shows you your GPS. And not only does it show you what the bend or the curve is, it also shows you what the curve after that is. And this is what I'm talking about, the granularity, because now, let me share my screen one more time. Now, because I can see what this conversation is, right? I can see the nesting. I don't need the index to show me what's nested because I can literally see it. Right? I can see how the stories are nested here. Now with the index, so it's almost like it's changing so it's changing the focus of what the index is. Now it's no longer showing you what's around the bend. Now it's actually showing you what the permanent note is. And this is what I'm talking about, how this is actually not used to categorize. This is only here to show you what this means. And so if I think about attention, and I think about this word right here. There is vision in regards to sight, and then there is vision that sees beyond sight. Is attention a good enough low resolution thumbnail to that permanent note? Is that a one-to-one relationship? One is a very high resolution picture of what it is. That's the permanent note itself. But the low resolution thumbnail is just attention. And so it's almost like looking at a folder of pictures on your computer. It's like you have these thumbnails and you're like looking for the background. It's like, oh, this is the one from the beach. And then you can double click on it and you can see the whole beach. And that's the whole permanent note. But the thumbnail is just there to sort of be able to effortlessly sort of file through your Zettelkasten. And so what happens is this, I'm sharing my screen, right? And so say I want to add a new note underneath attention, right? And I go, overall objective, attention, and let's just do seeking, right? And then now what I've done is I've added this note, I've added this index here to thematically connect overall objective with attention and seeking, right? And so overall objective, attention, seeking. Does that make sense? It makes thematic sense to me. And then now I actually write the permanent note. And so this is a declarative statement. But what I'm doing is I'm utilizing this, and I'm utilizing this in order to write this here. And this index is just a low resolution of this statement here, if that makes sense.
So if you
there's a lot of complexity, by the way, but
if you wrote the permanent note from the template that you just added, are you making a block reference when you bring in from your daily note? Do you make a block reference, or you just make it a?
So this is where, okay, so say this right here, right? What I'll do is I'll make this into a page, right? This is now a page. This is also leading to the hashtag is a page in Rome, right? And then what I do is I go back over here and I link it.
Gotcha.
And so now this is linked with this. So if I click on this, you see how these two are linked? So now my permanent notes page is now linked with my daily notes page. But if I click on this, what happens is it shows me the date and the location of the permanent note. So, I mean, Robert was talking about like using page references over block references, but I don't think he understood this concept here, is that I am using page references. I'm using both, but I'm using it smart. Because now have you seen a page with 200 linked references? It's the worst.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
You're basically kind of doing the same hack as Victor right now, where you're putting more than one reference or link, whatever you want to call it, onto the same block.
Exactly.
Because right
with
now,
this,
I guess you can't see me, of course, but if you have your cursor between, basically you put your cursor in between there, you can hit it and it's going to bring them both up simultaneously, or you could dive into one or the other if you so chose.
you mean between this two, right?
Yes.
Between these two? Yeah. But this is where the power is that you see how I have two pieces of information on this one block?
Mm-hmm.
What I do now is I actually block reference the entire block. So I'm going to option, drag this underneath relevant notes. And what I'm doing is now I have this block referencing inside of this as a relevant note. And so what I've done though, the reason I do it like that is because when I hit click for references, it shows up there. And again, I would add the index here. So let's just do seeking. And just watch this right here. You see how I turned it into seeking? And so that's why I block reference though, is because I want to be able to inline reference this so I can jump between places quickly. And because I have two pieces of information on this one block, not only do I have this index showing me what the actual permanent note is, now when I want to scan through all my permanent notes, I can easily sort of jump between places without losing where I am. I know it's something that I wrestled with and I grappled with. I wrestled with this idea because I wanted to find a way to be able to utilize the Zettelkasten in Rome. And because I asked a different question, I started seeing different answers. And I truly, and you have to know, I'm not indoctrinated with any note-taking systems. You know, I've never taken notes before in my life. So for me, it's like I took to this like duck to water because I didn't have I've literally never taken notes before in my life. Like I didn't go to college. I didn't even finish high school. But I read Sonke's book, and I'm not stupid. I got street smarts, you know what I mean? Like I was on the streets for a while, and like I'm not dead, so that proves that I'm not an idiot. But for me, it was just being able to find a way to use these notes has been life-changing. And if you, I know this is, it's a very different way of looking at this process, because what I'm doing is I'm block referencing antithesis here and I'm bringing it up here. But why wouldn't I just do this and this, right? Why wouldn't I just do this? But what happens is this. What happens if I click on this block now? Now I've got a mess. Like, what is this? Oh, it's going to show me this, and I guess this is what that means. I wanted it simple because now it's showing me this. It's relevant notes, but if I delete this, like, so just look for antithesis here, right? if I delete this block reference, right, I'm going to go into antithesis here, right? It no longer shows, right? It doesn't show here. It doesn't show in inline references. But if I bring over antithesis, then it shows. It shows like note that it's connected to inline reference. But if I did it just pages, it's like I have this, and then so this is the sort of added thing. Yes, it's going to show me that this is connected to seeking here, but I would have to actually have to click on this page in order to see that information. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically it's bringing everything in line at the same time.
Exactly. And if I have it in line, then with one click, I can see all the information. I don't want to have to click on this page. Like I understand where Rob's coming from, but that's a very traditional way of thinking. And it's like, if I have this as a page, right? If I have this as a page, then it's like, oh, I can just easily go into the page. But what happens is it's not, I have to go into the page. And now that I'm in the page, it's like, wait a second, where am I contextually?
And you can tie multiple conversations together with the way you're doing it.
Yes.
Like, for example, with the pages, you might be able to have, say, for example, 5 different topics or whatever that are kind of interrelated, but you don't know about it ahead of time. So with the pages, I can always connect it. And you can do the same thing with your method, I imagine.
Can you say that one more time?
For example, if I'm doing pages, I might have because your thing seems to have a conversation already in mind ahead of time, but sometimes you're writing information, you don't know there's a connection, and then you want to try to connect these later up, which is kind of how the pages is usually being used with a lot of people, I think. You know, for example, I don't know, maybe you're writing about a story or something, or I'm more in a technical area, so I'm a little different than some people, I guess. But you might have A, B, and C are kind of interconnected, but then later on, let's say 6 months later, you're at topic Z and you think Z is connected to A, B, and C. You could do that, right? Because with the pages, you can do that instantly.
Well, let me walk you through this real quick. So basically, after I make this sort of format, right? I'm going to close all these. So I've made this sort of format here, this structure. So now what I do is before I leave, I look through the entire list of permanent notes. And so I go, let me go and expand all. So this is a key point as well. I don't leave this. I'm not done yet. This is where this is where the question, if you watch Xiaomi's video about Zettelkasten, this is where he talks about sort of stumbling upon ideas again. This is where you start connecting. And I start going seeking. And now I just have that word seeking in my head, and I'm just sort of looking at all the different index notes. Seeking destiny, option click, drag it under. Seeking solution, option click, drag it under. Seeking attention, oh, that's great, drag it under. And if you look at it, it's related now to that. With one click, I can open everything up. And so what I do is I go through my entire Zet, and this is when they talk about space repetition, this is what they talk about. Because as I'm adding new notes as I'm adding all these notes, what I'm doing is I'm looking through all the notes that I've already written. Seeking how to live, let's add that. And I'm reading, and I use the index as a quick way to read it, but if I want to dive in a little bit more, I can read this. But because this is a one-to-one relationship, this is the high resolution, this is the low resolution, I don't even need to read this because it's a one-to-one relationship. It's just one's low resolution, one's high resolution. So it's about quickly useful seeking useful. Let's keep going. Seeking around us. Let's see, seeking, selfishness seeking, right? Sometimes I'll use antonyms or opposites. Let's see how that connects. So then I go to selfishness. I go selfishness in relationships, seeking selfishness and seeking. I just sort of add, and again, this is all right here on the block level. So I can add as many as I want. Like some of them, I have like 20 of them. But I just seeking consequences, inner objects, emotional connection, seeking paradox, right? I don't know. I'm just sort of making these connections. Look at paradox here. Paradox evil, paradox around us, paradox action, paradox dichotomy, paradox bottom up structure, paradox women. Hell yeah. Paradox technological advancement, paradox seeking, right? It's about that. And then what I've done is I've automatically linked, let's go back up to the top. I've already linked solution. I've linked all the information of solution with this permanent note here, but it's in a way that I can find it again without having to like go through a long process. So, I mean, I could literally do the exact same thing by making, let's just do this real quick. I want to walk it through it with you here. The drive towards, right? That's one. Let's do motivation. I'm just going to duplicate this, right? Abstracting. Right? And so it's, let me go and make this into a hashtag. Just so it has the same. So basically I've connected these two ideas with this permanent note, right? And so I click on this permanent note. It's like, how do I know that it's connected? How do I connect this? Because I did connect this, right? But how do I find this with this? You know, so if I click on this again, it's like, how do I find this? How do I find it with where it fit? It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I click it there. Oh, then it shows up. Okay. But then is that the best way to do it? So if I click on, so this is a permanent, let me just show you what I'm doing here. So seeking, this is the actual permanent note, right? And if I click on that, what happens is it doesn't show me how it's related to the other ideas that it's related to. Does that make sense? I have to click on this, which is friction, and then I have to see that it's related to these other pages, right? But following this exact same structure, right? I'm just going to option click, bring that over. I'm going to option click this over. And then now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back to the daily notes page, right? I'm going to look for seeking, right? Not that one. It's this one right here, right? Declarative statement. I'm going to click on that one. Oh, wait a second. What happened? Why is it not showing up here? I did something wrong. Never mind. It's talking shit. Why didn't it show up? Permanent notes. Okay, relevant note, seeking, block reference, declarative statement, right? Why is it showing up like that? Oh, I know why. There you go. Is it? Why is it showing up like that? Anyway, look, I don't know where I was going with that. Let's try that again. Okay, so obviously that doesn't matter. For some reason, I thought.
So good.
Yeah. Let's do this again one more time. I'm going to add that note there, and let's see the difference between. I'm going to delete those. Right now, I have pages. So let's go back over here. How do I know that this is connected with this? Quickly, right? And so if I click on declarative statement, let's see what happens now. Right? No, it doesn't do it. What the fuck is going on? Let's click on this one, right? Let's do this one, motivation. And so now I have 3 locations that I need to sort through, right? And then let's add another one here. Let's go seeking, attention seeking. Let's do abstraction, right? And then this is another statement. I don't know. I'm just sort of flowing with you guys here. Figure it out. So this is another statement, right? But what I want to do is, let me go back to the daily notes page. Let me add another one here. Let's go abstraction. right? And then this is, let's do the same thing. Let's do overall objective. Like, the thing is, every time you do this, it's like you have to write it all down. An option drag is so much easier, I think. You see? And then let me go ahead and just copy this, whatever, underneath. And then I'm going to call this one. What is this one? This is another. Right? So now I've got these now. So basically abstraction is linked to overall objective and motivation, as well as seeking, which is the connected to overall objective and motivation. Now let's what happens when we click on motivation or this permanent note. And now I have basically, it shows up twice of where it shows up in regards, but it's basically the difference between having that show up in your linked references or having it show up as inline references. And I'm gonna say it's also the speed in which you can do that. Because obviously, if I'm gonna add six places where I think it fits, then I need to go in here and I need to go dominance, avoiding. I mean, if there's a faster way to do that, maybe I can just copy it. That's what happens if I copy it. I could just copy the text. Oops, let me go back. I could just copy the text and paste it like that. And that would be easy, right? But it's for me, it's just, it's a matter of, do I want inline references or do I want linked references? If that makes sense. And plus, I like having it where it's like the only linked references I want for speed and effortlessness, or the only linked references I want is just going to be where the permanent note's located and the location of the permanent note in the permanent notes page. If I start accumulating all these sort of relevant notes, then what happens is then like the information that I need at my fingertips sort of gets cluttered away. I'm sure I can just filter out, the ones that aren't relevant, but it's just, I don't know if that's the most efficient way of doing it. What do you think?
I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything, but yeah, no, it's sounding good.
I mean, I could easily sort of copy this in, but it just seems like a lot of work compared to just holding option and just going bloop, 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 and then it's just populating. But I don't know. But I think I think the most important thing to remember is that there is no perfect way. It's all individualized, and it's all very much like whatever works best for you. I think as long as the sort of you're able to get to that point where the structure doesn't break down, then it's all personalized. Like you can. Like it's almost like this. It's almost like a very simple code that you can go and use this. It's like a simple combustion engine that you can put it in, a dune buggy over here. You can put it in, a Ferrari over here. It's like how you use it doesn't matter, but it's still a combustion engine, and that's what I feel like the structure that in Zettelkasten is. Maybe that's not the best analogy, but anyways, I'm getting tired. I need to post this Twitter thing. I hope I've been helpful. And yeah, definitely hang on because I do want to sort of, in the new year, I want to sort of expand upon like, to getting as many people into this as possible. I think it's important.
So how do we stay in touch if you're not using a mailing list, like just Twitter?
Well, Andy Henson created one. If you go to Chestnut Network, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I've signed up for that, but I never got a response from the email.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says supposed to be a confirmation in the email, but nothing shows up.
Okay, I'll talk to Andy. I don't know. Like it's such a poorly like drawn out like splash page too.
Andy can reach out to me because he has my email.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll know, especially because you're on Twitter too. But
yeah,
just we're working really hard to have this be something that can become a lifelong thing, and I think there's a lot of parts to that, and I think it's got to be an intensive, but it's got to be an experience as well. It can't be a video, it can't be a workshop. It's got to be an experience where really just breaking it all down and then getting you from 0 permanent notes to 20 permanent notes, and then you're off and running, and to have a community around that as well. But for me, it's that's what we're working towards. And I think the most important thing is understanding that, I think feedback would be great. I think there's, I think that working with the garage doors open is sort of what we're going with. And I think this is one of those things, because I didn't know what was going to happen today. I was a little worried. I was like, man, I hope this works. I don't even know if it's going to work. I still have to tweet this, you know what I mean? But I think this is part of that process of working in public and building in public. What were you going to say?
I think it's great, Bill, to see it in public, actually, because if people pre-plan it, you're not sure how effective it is on the fly, but kind of, I think out of everyone here, I was here from the very get-go, and I was able to see everything going right from the fly and realize that you didn't have anything planned. But like you said, I don't know what it is, you wrapped up 100 he had 100 tweets wrapped up in probably about an hour and a half, but that's because you were talking to us. If you weren't talking to us, I think you probably would have had done in 40 minutes or something.
And you have to remember, I didn't write anything down.
Exactly.
I didn't write a single word down. So it's like, that's what my goal is. I wrote probably 2 sentences, but I wanted to get that point where I didn't write anything down.
Well, that's the part that impresses me, because a lot of times, no matter what method of note-taking you're doing, you're putting a lot of effort and thinking in. But like you said, like usually you have it, but now you're sorting through everything, trying to find it. Yeah. And the way I was seeing what you did is, even though you did before we got here, you already had your notes in effect, but the thing is just be like, oh, I want that one, this, reorder this, done. If I'm not in a situation where I'm handing essays anymore, but if you're handing information in, it's like, okay, here you go, it's done, because you've already done the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's that idea of an idea generating machine.
And I think, I think that part that we're talking about, that last part where you're about to grab everything, I think that's where it has the advantage over the pages, because the pages, you'd have to be trying to jump everywhere, even though you have the same amount of information, because you have it all in the block level that you're talking. It's like, oh, I already got that, just put it over here, and that kind of thing.
It's simplicity, and I wanted something that could be taught, could be coached, that could be shown to people that don't even use Roam. That, that's my goal. I want to get as many people into sort of thinking for themselves as possible. It's a big problem. People are ideologically possessed. They're not thinking for themselves. And what happens when people don't think for themselves? They listen to the media, they listen to, their echo chambers. And it's like, how can we prevent that? And I think the solution is to forcing people to go, let me take a look at my thinking. And if you can literally see your thinking, then we're making the difference in this world that I think we really need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got to think about it, but yeah, it sounds good.
I'm excited. But thank you guys. Seriously, we're going up on 3 hours. I'm going to post this all up on Twitter, and let me finish actually writing out the 100 tweets here. And again, if I need to change like he into Lumen, that's about the only thing I'm going to do. Everything else, I'm just going to leave in context. Let's see what happens.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.